Welcome to The Story So Far. I'm your host, John Salvador, and today I'm going to talk about something that it really took me a while to understand. And yeah, look, I'm slow, I'm distracted, I'm a boy after all. But in saying that though, until you don't understand the real definition of an asset, it's going to be very hard for you to move forward towards having better financials, self-funded retirement, etc. Okay. Now this is also a very polemic topic because people do get offended when they realize that the things they thought they were assets, they're not really assets. Okay. So this isn't a original idea of mine, but it is a definition that has served me well, and I recommend you to have a good think about this particular one because Robert Kiyosaki, I'm a big fan of his work. I was exposed to it a long time ago. It took me a long time to understand it. But the way I got to understand it was by personal experience, and I'll come to that in a second. But let's just have a quick look at how people think what are an asset. I see the word asset gets thrown around very loosely, if you like. Okay, so but by definition, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. Okay, now. You could argue and say, well, if I sell the car, it puts money in my pocket. You pay 10, you're going to receive 4. Okay, that's not an asset. Okay, an asset it increases in value, and it puts money in your pocket every week, every month, every time. Okay, it doesn't take it out. Okay, so a lot of people think, oh, my boat is an asset, my car is an asset, my motorcycles are assets. Bullshit. Doesn't fit the definition. Doesn't put money in your pocket. These are all toys, and they distract you. Now, until this point, most people would agree. But now, your house, and this is something that it took me a while to understand, and when I used to go to the Robert Kiyosaki seminars, when he would used to challenge people about, your house is not an asset, people would just freak out. People would freak out. And look, it is the biggest expense that most people have, and there's no denying that it's a good way to save money. I mean, my house is my castle, right? I can do whatever I want in my house. I own it fair and square. It's an amazing feeling. But it's not an asset, okay? It's not an asset. Right now we've done some tweakings, and it's an asset. But for 90% of the people out there, they're working towards owning their own home, and they're calling it an asset. I think you should be careful with doing that. And what I mean by saying this is, based on my personal experience, and thankfully enough, we were lucky enough to be able to put the last payment on our home. So at that point in time, I felt like king of the world, and rightfully so, right? I was like, wow, what an amazing feeling. I'm a 50-year-old man, I'm paying down my house. I mean, I can sail into the sunset and forget about everything. But the reality is, nothing could have been further from the truth. Because what I realized is that particular day that I went to the bank and asked for my title, which also for the land title office in the city, when they gave me the actual title of the house, I was just over the moon. But guess what happened the next day? The insurance bills kept on coming. The repair bills kept on coming, the rates kept on coming. I still have to mow the lawn, which I outsource, it's still an expense, and if you do it yourself, it's time that you could have been producing and not doing this out in the sun, breaking your back. And also upgrades, the kitchen's not working properly, all that sort of stuff. Air conditioning, because we live in Australia and it's very hot in summer, etc. So as you can see, even though you're paying your own home, these expenses will continue to come until you stop living. Okay? And it'll be there for whoever's left behind. So if your children inherit your home, then this won't stop. This will be going on until that property is yours. Okay, so it is. Don't get me wrong. It is a great thing to do, and it's a beautiful dream for most people. But it's not an asset. I wouldn't count it as an asset. Okay. A lot of people will say, "Oh, but it's tax free. So if I sell it, I'll get my full money." And then, yeah. But where are you going to go? You're going to buy another property. You're going to start paying stamp duty. Or if you're using that money to rent, that money is going to slowly deplete. So you get where I'm coming from. Be realistic. Don't call your house an asset. It's a great thing to have. It's the American, the Australian dream, and the dream in lots of parts of the world. But don't do yourself and call it an asset, okay? Don't call your car an asset or a bike or a boat or any of that crap, okay? It puts money in your pocket, okay? So, income, dividends from shares, that's an asset. Royalties from songs or books that you wrote that they're selling on Amazon, that's an asset. Passive income from a property, that's an asset. Your car that needs repairs and service, it's taking money out of your pocket, that's not an asset. Your boat that is anchoring there, getting all the weed and paying for mooring fees and shit, not an asset. Your home, remember, personal experience, okay? Insurance, repairs, water rates, lawn mowing, upgrades, you name it, okay? They will never stop coming. They will continue to put money in your pocket. Imagine you're 65, you're 70, you think, oh, I'll pay my own home. I have no income now, but I own my own home. You're only kidding yourself. You're still going to have all these expenses coming through. And depending on where you live, I live in the northern beaches of Sydney, the water and the rates are very expensive. Okay? I mean, look, and I haven't even mentioned gas. I almost forgot electricity. See what I'm saying? Okay? So somehow, towards your retirement and your golden years, you need to have all these covered. Okay? So if you don't have, you think your superannuation is going to cover this? Really? What else are you going to get? You're going to go to work when you're 70 in McDonald's or Bunnings? There's nothing wrong with that. But you're going to really go do that? Really? Life expectancy. We're going to live longer. How are you going to pay for all this stuff? Okay? I'm being serious, alright? So be realistic, okay? Alright? So make sure. Look, a lot of people are, and like we do, we put we subdivide it, and we put a granny flat on the side with a private entrance, and now it covers for all of this and a lot more, okay? So something to think about. If you're in the possibility of turning a non-asset into an asset, I would seriously recommend stop being a dreamer when it comes to this. Your house is a financial investment. Why don't you just optimize it and make the most out of it, as opposed to seeing it only with your heart, okay? Because your heart is not going to serve you well when you're in your golden years and you still have to pay gas, electricity, upgrades, loan rates, water repairs, and insurance, okay? I'm sure you get what I'm saying. Stay strong, stay realistic. Until next time.